Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Not Quite Comics in 5 Minutes. I am Honourable no shorty, but we're taking a bit of an odd diversion, shall we say. I might still squeeze out an occasional little review for the end of the year, if I read something which really either impresses me or is worth talking about because it's interesting. But we're now into the end of 2023. I'm basically going to be telling you about all the stuff that I've loved that's come out this year. This little one is actually just a short list of things which didn't quite make it onto the best of the year list for whatever reason. I will get into that a little bit more and go through them. I don't want to think these are not great comic books. They are. Sometimes the reason is just I didn't quite get far enough into it, or there's they were a spin-off from something else. I don't ever think that anything that I'm going to tell you on this list right now is not absolutely worth checking out, but I have a best of the year, which is the best of the best, the things that I've loved, things that I added to my pull list maybe after reading one issue, things I've been telling everyone to go back and read, the things that I genuinely have been really excited about. These are the ones that just missed that by a smidge. And like I say, there will be some reasons for that kind of unfortunate, almost one kind of status. But we're just going to go through them. The order of these is not in any particular order. There is not like a start and finish, a best or a worst of this lot. I've literally just put them in a stack next to me here so I can pull them out, and that is the order you're going to get them in. That is literally it. But like I said, I will tell you why for each one, whether they're excellent but not quite excellent enough. We'll start with GCPD, The Blue Wall. I absolutely adored this when I first started reading it. I have been following John Ridley for a while, and I've got to be honest, I have liked a lot of what they've done, but I've been waiting for them to do something absolutely popped for me, and this was it. I had an eye on them for a while. They literally had a bit in Other History of the DC Universe where somebody called out Superman for his white privilege, and I'm like, mwah. But this one is like, yeah, he's going to do like the opposite of propaganda. Really fantastic characters, great layouts, fantastic commitment to the form, and to just the form of doing like noir policing kind of TV show-esque stuff on here, but with a nice twist. Now, the ending, unfortunately, didn't 100% stick it for me. Not to say I didn't enjoy it and I liked what he was doing, but the build-up to the ending and then the ending we got, I felt like, oh man, just a fraction away from being perfect. But still, absolutely worth your time. Second, another Batman one, Gotham City Year One by Tom King with Phil Hesher on artwork. I absolutely love this one. There's certain pages on it where I literally was taking photos of them and sharing them on Instagram because the artwork was fantastic and it was so film noir. Absolutely brilliant. It's not on my best of the year list simply because this creator has done some slightly better things this year. And it was like, well, I don't want to just fill the list with Tom King things. And I had to look at which ones did more for me, which ones actually stayed with me after I finished reading them. And this one, as much as I have loved it, and I've got every single issue at home, I've not gone back to reread it yet. And some of the ones that I've absolutely loved, I keep going back to and I keep telling people about. And this one, again, by a hair's breadth, didn't quite make it. Another DC one and another Batman-esque one. It's The Riddler by Paul Dano. I've never been 100% sure how you pronounce his surname. If anyone wants to correct me on that, I would go for it. This one is really, really good, but there's two different Batman villains who've had their own little mini-series this year. One of them, the other one, has made it onto my best of the year list, and I had to be a little bit like, well, I don't want to just absolutely populate it with the same kind of thing. Like, I didn't put any of the One Bad Day things on, even though they were all really, really good fun. But this one is like, I can't really tell you why it didn't make it, except for maybe I found the other one to be a little bit more within the DC Universe style, and I felt like it really worked well because of that. This one, it was doing something different, and I like the fact it did something different, but it still didn't quite get what I wanted for a Batman-related comic book. Next up, we have The Sickness. This one didn't make it in for the simple fact that issue 3 has literally come out today, and I'm not ready yet, so there's only 2 issues in. The delays have been a little bit of a pain for us, and I do think if it had all come out a little bit quicker, it almost certainly would have been on there, unless they totally screw up issue 3. It is some of the best horror I've ever read. I think in the way of like Autumnal and Harrow County, it's the kind of thing which in years to come I'm still going to be recommending people read this when the people come to me looking for cool, unusual horror comic books. It mixes psychological horror and body horror in superb ways, and the artist does wonderful things when you have to do still imagery and you can't do like jump scares but still manage to play it totally creepy. Highly, highly recommend it. Next up, The Oddly Pedestrian Life of Christopher Chaos. One I really did enjoy. I had a bit of fun talking about why the fact that Tinian's name was on there, because it is pretty much Tate Bromwell running the show on this one, I think, based on an idea by Tinian, and I can't help it if the two got drunk one night. Bromwell woke up and remembered it, and he was like, well, Tinian was there, I suppose I better include him. I do really like this one. I think they've got a really nice idea of an Earth that isn't quite ours and is quite different in certain places. We have this really cool gang of teenage monster movie character kind of archetypes coming out. They do a really nice thing where instead of having them all introduced at the same time, they give each character their own issue, including a Frankenstein's monster, which Adam, which is nice, which is one of the more recent ones. The only reason it hasn't made onto the list is actually, I think there's a little bit too much going on with it, and I haven't had the chance to really let it all sink in. And every issue, there's more stuff piled on, and I'm feeling a little bit like, whoa, calm down, dude. But I am still really enjoying every issue. I think it's one that if we have like an end in sight and we know we're going to get to it, like maybe a 12-issue arc or something like that, then I'll be able to really get back into it and can tell you exactly what I felt about it and how good it was. But at this point in time, I'm a little bit overwhelmed by it. But it is fantastic and looks amazing too. Next up, we have the Enfield Gang Massacre by Chris Condon and Jacob Phillips. And any other time, this would have been on my best for the year list. But I have some rules for when I put these things on here. Usually, it's that the story has to take part for the most part in the year I'm talking about. So if issue 1 and 2 have come out, but not issue 3, then maybe they might not make the cut. In this case, it's actually because it's just a spin-off from another series, which I've loved and I've talked about before, which is That Texas Blood, one of my favourite comic books. Whenever a new issue comes out, I absolutely adore it. This one, because it is kind of spin-off from it, but in a different kind of way, I just felt like it'd be a bit cheeky to put that one on the list as well. But suffice to say, this is genuinely amazing. If you like Wild West cowboy-themed stories, and fantastic artwork and brilliant back matter, like a full commitment to the bit, even the paper quality screams Wild West to you. I mean, I really can't recommend enough, but I also understand that not everyone wants cowboy stories. I do. I really like this kind of thing. Next up, Wonder Woman, another one of them, that fellow Tom King. This one, again, very, very close. I think only 3 issues out, and I think it just so close to pipping it into this one. But again, a lot of Tom King, and I don't want to totally flood my list with him as well. But it's showing really good growth for him. Unlike the Gotham Year 1, this was having a bit more fun with the form. Like, Year 1 was just a really cool take on noir storytelling. This one is enjoying the fact that it's a comic book and playing around with the fact that we don't have a narrator voice in our head, so he can play around with who's narrating what, and the story can kind of bubble and froth, and you're not 100% sure what's going on. But also it's his growth from that guy who was a CIA agent or operative, whatever the phrase might be. And some of his early stuff, I think you could read differently than his more recent stuff. This is like the most hella progressive thing I've ever seen him write, and he's done an entire thing about white saviors, and imperialism. Like, he's really against these kind of things. This is still the most progressive I've seen him, and it's fantastic. And yeah, I mean, for people who are watching this, yeah, me talking about progressive politics and comic books, that's going to come up through several of the actual top 10 of the year, so just get used to that kind of thing. And now finally I have a comic book I don't have a copy of, because we totally sold out of them. I couldn't find any. There's no collection for it listed, and it's kind of frustrating. But it's How I Became a Shoplifter. It's 3 issues of kind of just dumb fun, and I do genuinely love it. The only reason it didn't quite make it into my top 10 is I do struggle with comic books that set out to be funny. I think it's a very difficult thing to maintain. 3 issues was damn near the perfect length for it, but still, the excitement and the energy I got in issue 1, and how much I was enjoying the visual gags and the things that made it very much set in the time and place that it was set, those kind of things, just the foot was off the gas by the end, just a little bit. And I get that maintaining that level of energy and that level of humour is a difficult thing to do, and I appreciate that they tried, and it was a hell of a lot of fun. If you do end up seeing them around somewhere, if they ever do a collection, I would recommend just giving it a look. It's a blast, it really, really is. So there we go, those are the ones that didn't quite make it into my best of the year list. I'm now going to spend the next 10, 11 days or whatever. I think I've got a day off coming, so I might not do it on my day off, where I'm going to do my top 10, and these ones will be in order. Next video you get from me, if it's not a review I'm going to sneak in there, will literally be the 10th best comic book I've read this year. And I have to state, these are all just books that I like for my own reasons. I'm not saying that anything else that's not on this list or not on my Almost Rants is not worth checking out. There's a whole bunch of stuff I thoroughly enjoyed, but didn't quite get to the heights that I expected from it and I got from the ones that are coming up. I hope you at least enjoy some of these and you agree with me in some way, but even if you disagree with me, let me know. I have no problem talking to people about comic books. It's what I do. But that's it from me for now. Until I see you again, look after each other, everyone. Stay safe. Bye.